Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Morning Coffee and Bible, where we sip our favorite brew and dive into the Word of God. Today, we're kicking off this special Labor Day weekend with a powerful message that's sure to get you fired up and ready for the week ahead. As we gather with friends and family to celebrate the hard work and dedication that keeps this country running, we also turn our attention to the timeless truths found in Scripture. Today, we're diving into Paul's words to the Corinthians, where he flips the script on wealth and poverty. We're going to explore what it means when Paul says that the poor make everyone rich. It's a concept that's also as revolutionary today as it was 2,000 years ago. But that's not all. With the NFL season just around the corner, we're going to talk about what it means to be on the offense in our faith. Just like a team preparing for the big game, we need to be proactive, strategic, and ready to take ground for the kingdom. And I'm thrilled to have a special guest with me today, my amazing wife, Jessi. Whether she's on screen or just lending her voice, you won't want to miss the insights she'll be sharing. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get ready to roll. It's time to be offensive in the best way possible. And make sure we're not just playing defense in our faith journey. Let's dive in. And I got to show you my dogs as well, so you see them. There you go. What do you want to say? What do you want to say? You ready for today? All right, let's go. This is Rose, and over here, this is Maverick. I got to say it right. All right, let's go.
So we hold on and enjoy the ride. After all the ups and downs, this is our time. Enjoy the ride.
What is up, everyone? How y'all doing out there? Are y'all doing amazing? It's Labor Day weekend. It's Labor Day weekend, and we're enjoying. I feel like Elvis. I feel like I need to do that to get ready to get amped up and go. You got to see the Elvis movie. We saw that last summer, didn't we? It was a good one. It was a really good one. Yeah. Who is that guy that played it? What's his name? He's
Austin Butler.
Austin Butler. And he was also in The Bike Riders, was really, really good as well. But I just think of Elvis, and that's what I need to do. I need to change my occupation and go to Las Vegas and become Elvis impersonator. Do you all think Elvis is alive? Have you heard that before? Why do people think that?
Just want it to be true.
Is that the reason?
I don't know.
You always hear about different people out there that like artists that pass away and that die, and then but like they didn't really die because their records make so much more after they're dead. Have you heard of this? I don't want to be conspiracy nut, but sometimes I be conspiracy. You've heard of like Tupac, and then his like sales went through the roof. Actually, I don't know. Fact check me on that one. I don't know. But have you heard of this stuff? You know what I'm talking about? Oh man, how's it going? How you doing? Yeah. Maybe we should face each other.
No.
You don't think so? But like this? I'll remember that guy off of Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard, who's really funny. He's like, what, like this? Remember?
Justin?
Is that his name?
From Dodgeball.
Is that his name in real life?
No.
Yeah.
I just know his name was Justin. What was he doing?
I don't know. He was being checked after he went through all that with John McClane and his daughter. So, yes. Today is going to be free for all. I'm talking about Elvis. I'm talking about Tupac. I'm talking about Justin, but that's not his real name, from Dodgeball. Also in Live Free or Die Hard. And you're going to hear a lot. Since I am free and outside, you're going to hear a lot. But you've learned to live with it, haven't you? You all don't even know what I'm talking about. You don't even know. Nobody knows. Except, I think we shared this on that one episode we did. I think every guy out there does this. If you don't do that, you ain't a guy. You ain't a, what? Okay. Sometimes she's like almost the voice inside my head that just checks me sometimes, you know? I think you do that. You don't mean to, but I think I sometimes like, oh man, I went too far. I know you don't want to hear that. We're going to hopefully edit a lot of that out. And so today's Labor Day weekend. Is that the day?
I think Labor Day is Monday, and the weekend is now Saturday.
Yeah, I gotta be like a lot more careful. Because a lot of times I like, I'll just edit it, but then what if I don't edit it, you know? And
Oh my God.
what?
Oh.
Do I overthink?
Yes.
I don't overthink nothing. Don't overthink anything. All right. So, how are you doing, Jessi?
Fine.
I'm putting you on the hot seat right now. You're on the hot seat. You've stepped into Morning Coffee and Bible, the hottest seat in America, baby. In America. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you, that's why you can tell, like, only the creme de la creme come on this show because it's the hottest seat in America. Right? Or just, am I right? Yeah. Because I put you under fire, you know, I'll test you. Test your biblical acumen. Oh my gosh. Action scene, baby. Action. We don't hold anything back around here. Something I will tell you about this lady, she loves being called a lady, is I remember, and this reminds me because yesterday we went to high school football game. You know, high school football game. I hadn't been to a high school football game in probably a decade, but we went, and I remember whenever we were dating early on, I remember going to a high school football game, and we were just walking back out to the car, and probably you're talking with somebody. She's always talking with someone. And I remember she goes, and it was because of something flew by her. And that was like the very first time I ever seen, like, she overreacts. You saw a glimpse of it there, but you do, bugs make you freak out.
It was a spider. It's different than a bug.
But, really?
Yeah.
I remember whatever it was. You've probably have no idea. It was a North Platte game, probably one of the, because when we were dating, we went to maybe a couple, I don't know. And I remember you were just talking to someone and then you did that and you just freaked out. And I was like,
and you're like, you're done.
No, I would say I fell in love with you that day, but I probably fell in love with you before that. I don't know.
Sure. So that was a bad thing?
You can tell it made an impression on me because I remember like 20 years later. How many years would that have been? Not 20 years, maybe 15 years.
No, been married 15 years. Anyway, sorry I scream.
No, I love it. There's things, I will tell you things about this lady. Hey, do you love being called a lady? Okay. I'm gonna spill the beans. She loves a deal. She loves a coupon. I remember going to Bed Bath & Beyond when we were dating, and do you know what I'm gonna say? And she had a Bed Bath & Beyond coupon.
We all did.
Everyone
sent them out.
Oh, and Bed Bath & Beyond, what happened? Especially, at least in Kansas City. I don't know about the rest of the country, but we were in Bed Bath & Beyond, and I remember you had that 20% off or some discount, and it fell between the cracks of something that was in the middle of the aisle of the store, and I was just like, oh, I guess it's gone. And then, but I remember walking to another aisle, and I looked back, and you were trying to somehow you're working your way in there, trying to figure out how can I move all of these things so I can get this. But I don't even know if you ended up getting it.
I don't think that was me. I don't remember any of that or the bug.
Oh my gosh, yes, it was you. It was you, 100% you. 100%. I remember. Maybe
there's someone else who likes a deal.
No, not like you. Not like you. You love a deal. You love a good deal.
I do.
I do too. You know, sometimes.
No, you don't. No,
what?
You don't.
What do you mean I don't?
You're like the most expensive thing.
Do I?
Yes.
Do I?
You do.
No, I don't.
Except our wedding ring. You said, what's the most cheapest ring you have here?
Oh my gosh. What are you talking about?
Which I appreciated.
What are you talking about? You weren't there when I got a wedding ring.
Yours?
Oh, when we got mine, not when we got yours.
Yeah.
Making me look terrible. I don't know. I remember getting yours, and I did not do that.
I didn't say mine when we were together getting yours.
Well, I mean, why would I want an expensive ring for me? And it wasn't expensive, really, probably for her. I mean, probably about $1,000. I'd say probably about $1,000. And that's probably nothing compared to maybe 900. I don't even know.
See, this is how cheap I am. I was offended you would spend that much.
But you don't even know what it is. I don't even remember what it was. How would you know? You would know how much I paid for you on that?
Yes.
It was probably, if I'm ballparking it was probably like around 950. 950. Okay. I'm guessing. Hellsberg, baby. We are lifelong buyers. Hellsberg. Oh, yeah. Bling, bling, bling. Okay. Yes.
What are we talking about today?
All right. Well, I put you on the hot seat a little bit, didn't I? Did you feel uncomfortable? Did you start to squirm? I think the bug made her squirm. I didn't really, but I will tend to do that. Okay. So today we are talking, I got to remember not to be loud. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So today we are talking about, since it's the Labor Day weekend and working, and being thankful for our workers that have everybody's in America, that makes this nation just run on all cylinders, but really, I mean, is that really the case? It's like sometimes, I mean, if I'm going to be honest, like sometimes it doesn't feel like that. Sometimes it just like, it's tough because the grind of work can be kind of, I mean, when you really ask people like, how happy are you with your job? You know what I mean? I don't know. Have you ever done that? I mean, if I went out and started just taking a poll of how happy are you where you're at and the job you're at, like what kind of responses do you think we would get?
Normally you think, no, I don't like it. I hate it. Just gotta work at something. That's just in my head, but I don't know.
I mean, to me,
some people love their job.
Yeah, if you're in the NFL, yeah, that'd be a pretty sweet job. If you're in the NFL, that'd be pretty cool. But if you're a professional player.
Yeah. But if you ask them, they might be like, I don't really like getting beat up every week.
Like NFL players?
Yeah. Sometimes money isn't everything.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking about playing football for a living. That'd be so fun, or just playing a sport. But I think even like anything, if it becomes your kind of your life, what's called your livelihood, if it becomes your work, your things to put food on the table, it does just become a job and does become like, even playing games can turn into be a job and just suck the life out of it. But why is that? Why does it got to be like that? Or does it got to be like that?
Or just the pressure to keep performing as far as sports, constantly staying in shape, getting hit and beat up.
And like being a professional sports player?
Or like any job, you have to keep doing it. Otherwise, you don't eat. You got to do something.
Yeah. I think what makes it tough, and we could take this back to the Garden of Eden, that if work was supposed to be pleasant and fun and great and amazing, and which it can be at times in this life, but a lot of it's stress. It's just worry about how I'm going to perform and just the anxiousness of it. You know what I mean? And I think that comes from the Garden of Eden, the curse, that Jesus, I guess it was Jesus, God said, by the sweat of your brow, you will labor, you will work for your food, you will till the ground. And even though not everybody's out there tilling the ground, but we do, I think it reflects on just that anxiety, anxiousness, the stress that comes down on people, whether you're just typing on a keyboard, you still, you know what I mean? I think I see that as the stress that gets put on the weight on our heads,
Mm-hmm. It seems like the Garden of Eden, it was just, there was no work almost. It just grew, and like, I guess maybe harvesting it. You didn't have to toil and grow it. It grew. He grew it. You just pick it and eat it. Yeah. And now you have to actually plant and weed and
use energy but I think that because I think whenever they went to probably harvest the ground, or just they would have pulled out a vegetable or a fruit, or I don't know, it would have been easy. It would have just come just naturally. It wouldn't have been like I gotta exert energy that's just causing me pain, or what I'm trying to say. It's just it would have just come just effortlessly. Yeah. And as opposed to now, we have to put forth effort. When God made the declaration, he made the declaration to the woman, and then he made the declaration to the man, and they were different. Guys aren't giving birth to babies. And so God said to the woman, he said, you will have pain in childbirth, which,
yay.
Yeah, it's a reminder. Sorry about that, Jessi. Yeah. So he gave to the woman, he said, you shall have pain in childbirth. So, I mean, before that, you kind of think of it, would it have been painless? Would it have been something?
It appears that way.
Because God made the command to Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply before the sin entered the world. So they were going to have children before that.
Wait.
What
did they have kids before the fall?
I don't think so. No.
Well, then maybe there was never a pain-free birth then.
Well, I mean, I think the intention of it. You think? I think because the command before the fall happened, God said, "Be fruitful and multiply." So they were to have children.
Why say something then if it wasn't a change from what it was? I guess.
So that's what I'm saying. I think that it would have been pain-free.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
And for the man, it would have been working without the sweat of the brow. It would have been joyful work. It would have been, it would have been fun always. And I think work can be fun because in any aspect of life, whether you have a job or not, there's worries with it. the worries, how am I going to provide for my family? How am I going to pay the bills when I don't? But then when you do have a job, it's like, it's a job. And that's where I think, that's where I make the difference between work and a job. I don't look forward to a job. I look forward to work though. And maybe it's just a me thing, but like, just a different outlook on those two different words and just kind of a mindset. I don't know, like, work can be a great and blessing and doing it for good things. I think it's just, maybe I'm pouring into the word job, that word, all the bad things that I take along with it. And I'm pouring into the word work, all the good things. And that's how I kind of almost look at it.
I remember when I had the first baby and I was home for a year without working. It was almost torture because I feel like I needed to be doing something.
Really?
So I went to it was part-time. So it was like, I feel like useful. I think I want us to be useful and be productive.
Now, I wonder if that's
not that saying staying home is unproductive, but for me,
you gotta be careful and say something. But we're going into the NFL season. A good segue,
But like for me personally, I feel like I need to be out. I want to be useful doing something as well.
I mean, that is like interesting you say that because like for me, like, do you see it as the difference between a man and a woman kind of because it really makes me depressed and sad when I don't feel productive. You use the word useful. I think the word productive.
Yeah.
If I'm not making something, if I'm not getting everything out of my day possible that could be good, and I'm just wasting something, it makes me feel sick inside. It makes me. But I mean, do you think guys and girls have that same mindset? I think guys would have more though. Don't you think?
Yes, generally, I guess. But like, I think if I was like at this house on the property when I was off for that year and I could garden and I could plant my flowers and weed eat and mow, I would feel more useful because but I just had this tiny little apartment I was stuck in for a year,
What apartment was that?
The first Wedgwood.
Oh, Wedgwood?
Well, we have the babies. That's where we were.
I guess it was. Memory not so good. Memory not so good. No, so anyway, go ahead.
I just felt like I would have been not so boxed in, or maybe it's cabin fever or something. I just had nowhere to go.
And so if you think it would have been had more to do, even if it wasn't work or a job, you think it would have been better? You think you could have got more? You wouldn't have been like so down?
Stir crazy, yeah.
Stir crazy?
Yeah. It wasn't terrible, but I felt like the itch to like I almost begged my old boss just to take me back.
Really?
Yeah.
I do know, and I'll say this, I got, whenever I did get let go, that was over a year ago or a year and a half ago from a company.
Laid off.
I was like, we'll wait until this plane passes.
So laid off, not let go.
That's the difference.
That's fired. Fired is let go.
Jessi says the difference between let go and laid off. I say let go, but she says that that's the same way of saying fired, as opposed to I was laid off. Like I was let go with a bunch of other people. It wasn't just me.
So a bunch of you were laid off.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So I guess that's laid off. I've been laid off a couple times in my life then. I remember at the government job I had, the prison. I'm a hard-nosed guy, I worked at a prison and that was tough. Working at a prison is extremely tough, But when I'm talking about when I got laid off, that I was in between jobs for ended up being about a month. And I remember I was just completely miserable. I mean, like for the most part, it wasn't like I could have some time to rest. It's like when you don't have anything, even though you still have severance, you still have money coming in, you still are able to pay the bills. It doesn't matter how much money or whatever you have. If you feel like there's an end to it, you can get that weight on you. And I just had that weight of like, even though I have time to do this and I should maybe reflect a little bit more and go to a place that I really want to be. And I'm extremely happy at the place I'm at now. But like, I didn't use it as that time. It didn't matter how much I was aware and could remind myself of everything's okay. We're able to pay the things we need to pay. And I have this for a little while and I don't need to be anxious about it. It was just that to know that it's going to come to an end and I need to have something and I have to have that stability, and it just wears on you, just the anxiousness of it. And I just felt like And there was that aspect of it, of just being anxious about that. But then there was also, man, it's like, if I don't have something I'm actively doing, my mind wanders and I become a prisoner in my own mind, as people have seen. If you've checked some of my previous videos, you understand the kind of the struggles that I've gone through, and I do go through. If I do not have something that I'm actively doing and put my mind to work, I can almost go insane. I feel like, I hate saying this, but like Jack Torrance off of The Shining, I sometimes it's like if you do not have that, and that's probably a terrible example, but like he just gets stir crazy, like you said, but he did it in a completely awful way, and the way he took it. I am a horror film fanatic. I love The Shining. I love Stephen King. I don't think there's anything hiding about that. I love that kind of stuff. But I do get, if I do not have something, all day makes Brandon not a happy guy. Or I don't know what he says, but I think I need to have something I'm actually doing. I remember years and years ago, whenever I had been laid off, that was kind of brutal. I don't even want to get into that really, but it was a job I was at, and they just churned people in and out quickly, and I did not meet what they needed, and they churned me out viciously. Probably from them, it was the humdum, ready to go day, normal day. But for me, it's like, that's why it's a constant reminder to myself, when you are dealing with somebody, their occupation, their job, their livelihood, you cannot just take it lightly, because you're like almost destroying that person's life in a way sometimes when you close their means of financial stability or being able to bring in money. So I think whenever I got let go from there, and I was out of work for about maybe 6 months, I don't know, however long it was, then I found the job that I went into. I remember whenever I first got there, and they were doing stuff on paper. They were still doing stuff on actually pens and paper, writing stuff. There was keyboards and all that, computers and all that, but they had not transitioned to the digital phase and age that we are in now. But it was so nice to actually be able to just write. I remember I was having to write things on folders and having to write things on paper, and it was almost therapeutic. If you are anxious about anything, or just that you need to get out of your own head, just writing stuff can almost be peaceful. And I think for me, it was a way that I could almost block out the voices, I say voices, people think I'm schizophrenic probably as many times as I say that, but it's not literal voices. I don't hear literal voices, but it's the feelings that my mind gets just crushed down with. And I think whenever I went to there and I was actually putting my mind to use and doing actual work and writing things down. Do you remember me saying this? Whenever I started there, it was a Friday and I just got off work and I said, I can't wait to go back on Monday. And I was like, do you remember? Some things she doesn't have as great of a memory.
Not at all. I can't remember anything.
Yeah, I guess. And I think I'm coming that way towards you. But I remember I told you that. I said I look forward to just almost being back on Monday, because I think that almost is that aspect of Shawshank Redemption, where that old man, he's been in prison his whole life. That's all he's known. And then once he gets out, and he doesn't feel useful anymore. He doesn't feel like he's serving a purpose. And it's like, and he ends up killing himself. He ends up, ending his life and he's an old man, and that's like one of the best movies ever. Mm-hmm. And I think if we are not re-engaging our mind and putting our mind into work and making productivity, that we will drive ourselves insane sometimes. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's built in. He wants us to work, and that gives glory to God.
For me, it's I have to be doing something, otherwise I feel miserable, and I have to. I think that, and whenever I was the most recent time when I was laid off, and then I got the job where I'm at now, and it was like, I remember interviewing and going through kind of different steps within the process, and I was just saying to the person and she was like, well, how soon do you want to start? You want to start in a couple of weeks, few weeks out or whatever? And I was like, I want to start tomorrow. I need not only it's not that we were hurting financially at that point, but it was like that I needed to be doing something. I needed to have my mind almost that I'm making a difference. I'm contributing. I'm being productive. And I think a lot of people can feel that way, Mm-hmm. So Labor Day is amazing, because I do want to reiterate that how much I wish we had 3-day weekends. I wish we always had I wish we went to a 4-day week. I mean, that's why I would almost be happy to live in Europe, because in Europe, like that's more of the vibe that I would get. Like, it's more laid back. But I don't know. I bounce back and forth between that, because it can be the anxiousness of you just want to be off work and having peace and being able to relax. But it's like the moment, like if I ever have a week off or from work and I take any significant amount of time off, I start going crazy. And and some of the worst points in my life have been the times of that I've taken off of work for a portion, like not just a day or two, but like a more lengthy time frame.
And how long? Like if you took a week off for Christmas, would that drive you crazy?
Maybe that's a blanket statement that's not exactly right, but I just think of in my past, the worst times that I've had has been those time periods, because it's like I almost need my mind being engaged and doing something. Otherwise, I think it's just my makeup sometimes that I have to have my mind occupied with something.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's a lot to say about Labor Day and everything that goes along with that. Today, I wanted to talk about and bring up to you, we wanted to dive into the poor making everyone rich, because that's been on my mind, because especially doing this type of videos, creating content and everything, it's all, for the most part, it's all about making money in some form or angle, and that's what like this life is about. It seems like we're all about, we need to make money. We need to provide for our family. We need to make means and support. And I almost can get bogged down doing stuff like this, because I'm like, I'm not making anyone money, physical money. But then I almost had to remind myself, like, if you're doing something for the kingdom, you can be making an infinitely more important aspect in someone's life by contributing, like, and telling them about Christ, encouraging them so that they can tell others about Christ. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, Mark Cuban, who all the richest people in the world, billionaires. When we close our eyes for the last time, we're all on the same level. We are all in the same playing field. No one's driving a U-Haul into paradise. You're going in there with, naked I came from my mother's womb, naked I will return. We carry nothing into the next age. And it's like, we don't know if tomorrow is our last day. We don't know if tonight is our last day. You know what I mean? So this is for me, and I just, and for anyone else out there, because there is a lot of Christians out there that are creating content and to encourage people and to help people and to drive people to Christ. You're making a difference. You are making a difference, whether you don't feel it, whether it can sometimes be like, what's the point? People don't want to hear it anyways. And then that almost drives into the fact that if Jesus said, if everyone speaks well of you, he said, so did they of all the false prophets. So it's like, if everyone is speaking well of me and everyone just loves everything I do, I'm probably not doing a good job of it for Christ. That's what I think of, because if I am as much as possible being an example for Christ and being authentic as possible to drive people to Christ, and not for my own purposes and my own pride or ego or whatever, I don't know, my own kingdom, I don't know. If I'm doing it for Christ, most likely not everyone's going to love it. I just think of like all the stuff I put on like social media and everything. I post videos, and man, people just come out and they just do not like it at all. So a lot of people do not like it. A lot of people and most of the time the people that are vocal about it are the ones that don't like it. And the ones that just want to just tear me down and tear what I'm doing down. And it's understandable. It's much easier to talk about football. It's much easier to talk about making money. How's your portfolio, kind of thing. And like trying to build others' bank accounts and tell them how they can build their bank account, as opposed to telling them about Jesus. That's been on my mind, being the poor making others rich, but also not everyone's going to love it kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, throughout human history, it's been like this small, like, God has he redeems a whole bunch of people, but then a lot of them fall away, and it's only a very small remnant, that enter the promised land, kind of thing. And not everyone is going to get on board. And it's not to say that everything I do that everyone has to be on board with me, because you can have your taste. That's why that's why there's so many churches, and I'm not saying that's a good thing, because to me, that's not the greatest thing, that there's so many churches. I mean, we were just the other day, just driving around, and we just saw a church on every street, there's a church over here. There's a church right across the street. There's a church over here, church, it's like, why do we got so many churches? I would like it so much better, like the New Testament, the church of Kansas City, the church of, St. Louis.
I know, but it's not practical. There's too many people. You got to break them up in different buildings.
Why? Why is that?
There's too many people.
But why? But what do you mean? Like,
our populations are huge.
But why can't we all come together? That's me. Like, why does there have to be this division? Why does there have to be Protestant, Catholic, Lutheran, Episcopalian? Why does there have to be all that kind of stuff? Like, and I'm not going. I'm not going Joseph Smith, and I don't like even saying that, like, because Joseph Smith, he had that same kind of thing that he struggled with. Is that his name, Joseph Smith? The Mormon Church?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, because that could be its own episode in itself about the Mormons, because that's a tough one, because that is outside of the Orthodox Christian faith. That's not within it, and that's a tough one, because there's so many good people that I love that are Mormons, It seems like sometimes the better people are Mormons, just the way that they conduct their lives. And that could be its own thing of like, whether you have to have perfect understanding and your theology has to be pinpoint accurate, or if it is going to be a thing, where's your heart at and what good works are you doing? But that's the thing. I don't think we're going to get into heaven by our good works whatsoever, but we will be judged based on our works at the end of age, Jesus will give rewards, and will be evaluated, but that could be its own thing of like, that's something I struggle with, because like how wonderful Mormon people are. And that's a really extremely tough thing to talk about sometimes, especially if you have people that you personally love that are. But okay. So can you pull up those two verses? I gave you two.
Sorrowful, yeah, always
No, not that one. Do that one
okay.
second. Do the other one first.
8:9.
So this is 8:9, and this talks about the poor making others rich.
Okay, 2 Corinthians 8:9. For you know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor, so that you through his poverty might become rich.
So this is in 2 Corinthians, and we're going to go back a couple pages on the parchment, and you think, because I go down too many rabbit trails. I should change my show name to Rabbit Trails, because I like rabbits and I like trails. Okay, we're going back a page on the parchment, and what verse is it? He's talking about him and his apostles, what they are doing. Like, these were the representatives of Jesus Christ living on earth. They had the authority to speak on behalf of Christ, and he talks about their condition, and he says, I'm going to spoil it. Though we are, it says, being poor, making others rich.
Sorrowful, yet always rejoicing. Poor, yet making many rich. Having nothing, and yet possessing everything.
Okay. So read that part about poor, yet making many rich again. What's that verse say again?
Sorrowful, poor, yet making many rich.
And he's talking about him and the apostles, him, Peter, and James and John, all of them. They were poor men. Paul lived most of his life, I don't know if it's most of his life, but towards the end of his life in prison, and he was the poor of the poor. But he's saying, like, no matter what he was and what kind of his livelihood looked like at that time, even though he was poor, he was making many rich. All the people that encountered him, that he was making them rich eternally,
And ongoing, like, for all of us.
Because you make, like, we think of telling somebody about Christ, how wonderful it can be, obviously, for their afterlife, where they're going to spend eternity. But, like, put that aside. Just your own life right now. And I'm not saying everything's this isn't a prosperity gospel. It's not everything's going to be wonderful and amazing when you trust in Christ. But it's like, everyone in this world is going through storms. Everyone is in the boat, whatever boat they're in, but it's who has Jesus in the boat with them that makes the difference, is going to get them through it all.
And think of just all of our ancestors that have told their children, and now here we are. Maybe there were some jumps in there that someone else might have told them, but like, look how far back.
Oh yeah.
It goes.
Oh yeah.
Just have to
be faithful and keep it going.
Oh yeah. And then lastly, I would just want to end on like being offensive. You know, we know it can be offensive to be offensive. You know, people like think, oh, that's offensive. I'm talking about, when I'm talking in this context, we are Christians. We are on the offense. Satan wants to put you on your heels. He wants to have you ice skating backwards. You think if we're going into the football season and that lineman coming at you and just wanting to destroy you, that guard pulling and just wants to blow you up, you know, and you just want to get on your skates and go backwards. No, you got to, like my coach has said, and I'm not going to say his name, you know, but he said, you get up, run up under there, and you just meet them, and you just blow them up so that that you just get in to destroy that running back there, you know, and that's what we got to be, because we are going into the football season, and especially of late, if you love the NFL, the teams that are winning the Super Bowl these years, they happen to be offensive teams, people that can throw the ball, people that can just drive it down the other team's throats, and that as Christians, we can be doing the same thing. You know, Satan wants to like push us back. He wants to think that he has everything high and mighty on us, where we can actually gain ground for the kingdom. And that's why it talks about the gates of hell will not prevail, you know, because Satan and his minions are the gates of hell. Gates are not offensive. Gates are not offensive. They are kind of, you got to break through them, you know? It says the gates of hell will not prevail. It's like we are to burst through those gates, you know, and gain ground into enemy territory. You know, that's why we can, even though it sometimes can be kind of doomsday, is like we think everything's is going in a bad direction in this world. In reality, things are getting brighter as we near the approach of Christ. Things, as in the church of God, is going to get lit up and fired up more and more. I mean, you think of at the end of the age, the witnesses in Revelation, they're going to be just fire blazing out of their mouth and just telling people about the Lord. And that's when like the true colors of believers are going to come out, when they are under intense persecution, that light. And you just think of how much brighter a fire can be when in pitch black. You know, in the darkness, the light can shine so much brighter. And as this world around us gets black as hell, you know, which is it's going to get darker than anything you can imagine. The light, that brightness of the diamond on the black velvet or whatever, is just going to shine through, as in the church of God just rising up, you know, so that that can be encouraging for everyone. There it goes. All right, that's a good way to end, folks. Oh my gosh, you get live footage, baby.
Butterfly.
It's not the prettiest butterfly, but okay. But it was on the prettiest lady. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Jessi. Thank you for being here today. All right, have a wonderful weekend. And as we go into this next week, I just want to say, go Chiefs. Go Chiefs! All right. See y'all.
So we hold on and enjoy the ride. After all the ups and downs, this is our time. Enjoy the ride. Can you see it? There's a distant shore getting closer. We want nothing.
I was a close-up edition. Sophie loved that when I did that. I'm trying to, oh my gosh. All right.
You can't do that the whole time.
I don't know.
Don't do that.
Don't what? Make sure you're not seeing anything you're not supposed to. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Hello. I can't do it. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Your support means the world to me, and it helps keep the content coming. Until next time, stay blessed and keep shining.